You ever have that feeling you see something that's supposed to be incredible, a huge news story, a mind-blowing piece of art, and you just feel kind of numb? It's this weird, unsettling feeling, this sense of being underwhelmed by the world. We're going to break that down, because it's a feeling a lot of us seem to share.
And that brings us to the big question we're really digging into here. It gets right to the heart of what it feels like to be alive right now. Why does it feel like nothing truly shocks us anymore? I mean, is the world less amazing, or is something else going on entirely?
This quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. A strange numbness. Seeing it in words like that is so validating, right? It's not just you. This is a real thing, a shared modern condition, and we're about to get into exactly why it's happening.
All right, so let's jump into our first section, the vanishing shock. The key thing to get here is that our kind of muted emotional response isn't because the world ran out of drama. Not at all. The events happening are still just as extraordinary. So, what changed?
So here's the thing. The problem isn't the world. The world is still wild and amazing. The problem is that the conditions for surprise, the very environment we need to feel astonishment, have been worn away. So if the world is still doing its part, what's getting in the way?
Well, that leads us right here. We're in an age of endless access, and this constant fire hose of information has literally changed how we feel. This is where we really start to see what's going on under the hood.
Think about this for a second. We've basically traded anticipation, that awesome period of wondering and waiting and discovering something for yourself, for instant access. We get the movie reviews before we even buy the ticket, the hot takes while the event is still happening. All this pre-analysis just kills the chance for a genuine, personal aha moment. And wonder? Well, wonder really struggles to breathe in that kind of environment.
And the thing is, our brains were just not built for this. When you're facing this relentless flood of alerts and opinions and crises, your mind does the only logical thing it can. It starts putting up shields. That numbness, it becomes a form of self-defense. That endless scroll isn't really about curiosity anymore. It's just a habit, a tick. And what looks like indifference on the outside is almost always just deep, profound exhaustion on the inside.
So let's talk about the inner price we're paying for all this. Because this isn't just something happening out there, it has a huge psychological cost. What is this always-on culture actually doing to us on the inside?
And that brings us to this key concept, the dopamine economy. Our digital lives are basically built on this cycle of tiny, instant rewards. A like, a swipe, a notification, each one gives our brain a little hit of dopamine. But here's the catch, it's all stimulation without any real fulfillment. It keeps us busy for sure, but it leaves us feeling restless and weirdly empty.
And you know what else happens? When every single idea, every song, every piece of art is instantly documented, shared, and remixed, true novelty starts to feel incredibly rare. Originality just feels diluted. When you can see everything all the time, nothing feels all that special. And it's really hard to feel genuine awe without that sense of rarity.
Okay, this next one. This might be the most crucial piece of the whole puzzle. We watch, we comment, we react, all from behind our screens. And we start to mistake that awareness for a real experience. We know about more things than any generation in history, but we're actually participating in fewer of them.
And it all leads to this incredibly powerful paradox. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? We have access to all the information in the world, which is truly amazing, but the price we're paying seems to be a certain depth of feeling. We are, in a way, over-informed and under-awed.
Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom, I promise. The analysis here doesn't just point out the problem, it actually offers a way forward. So, how do we reclaim that wonder? How do we find our way back to feeling more deeply?
First things first, we have to reframe this. Wonder is not gone. It hasn't vanished into thin air. It has simply been crowded out by all the noise. Think of it like a tiny, quiet flame in the middle of a hurricane. The flame is still there. It just needs a little shelter to burn brightly again.
So what it really comes down to is a choice, a conscious choice. We can keep going down this road of more and more information, which seems to lead to fewer and fewer deep feelings. Or we can choose a different path, the path of more presence, of actually being here and now, which is where we find deeper meaning. It's a trade-off.
And here it is, the path back, laid out in 4 steps. They're simple, but let's be honest, they are not easy. It starts by consciously seeking less information, by trading some of that awareness for more presence. That's how you create true empty space in your mind and in your day. And it's in that quiet empty space that surprise can finally find a little room to come back. Which leaves us with a final question. And this one is personal. This isn't just some abstract idea, it's an invitation. Wonder isn't something that just happens to you. It turns out we have to make room for it. So when you look at your own life, what space, even a tiny one, will you create for surprise to return?